Welcome to another live reading of Psycho-Cybernetics. My name is Alyssa Luce, and you are joining the Intentions of a Mastermind book club for this read along. So, this book, Psycho-Cybernetics, is all about recreating the self-image, and life has brought me along that path. I'm in a new room, and it's pretty cool because it was an unexpected change. Peace and love to you, Joy. Happy Monday. And happy Monday to everyone watching. If you're watching at a later day, happy whatever day it is. We're going to jump right into chapter 2. I left my physical book in my other room, but no excuses. You can literally find the PDF for free online. You can take this book anywhere you go, and you can learn by listening to this audio or video as well. So, Chapter 2, Discovering the Success Mechanism Within You. It may seem strange, but it is nevertheless true that up until 10 years ago, scientists had no idea of just how the human brain and nervous system worked purposely to achieve a goal. They knew what happened from having made long and meticulous observations, but no single theory of underlying principles tied all these phenomena together into a concept that made sense. R. W. Gerard, writing in Scientific Monthly in June 1946 on the brain and imagination, stated that it was sad but true that most of our understanding of the mind would remain as valid and useful if, for all we knew, the cranium were stuffed with cotton wadding. However, when man himself set out to build an electronic brain and to construct gold-striving mechanisms of his own, he had to discover and utilize certain basic principles. Having discovered them, the scientists began to ask themselves, could this be the way that the human brain works also? Could it be that in making man, our Creator provided us with a servo mechanism more marvelous and wonderful than any electronic brain or guidance system ever dreamed of by man, but operating according to the same basic principles? In the opinion of famous cybernetic scientists like Dr. Norbert Wiener, or Weiner, Dr. John von Neumann, and others, the answer was an unqualified yes. Every little thing has a built-in guidance system or goal-striving device put there by its creator to help it achieve its goal, which is, in broad terms, to live. In the simpler forms of life, the goal to live simply means physical survival for both the individual and the species. The built-in mechanism in animals is limited to finding food and shelter, avoiding or overcoming enemies and hazards, and procreation to ensure the survival of the species. In man, the goal to live means more than mere survival. For an animal to live simply means that certain physical needs must be met. Man has certain emotional and spiritual needs to which animals do not have. Consequently, for man to live encompasses more than physical survival and procreation of the species. It requires certain emotional and spiritual satisfactions as well. Man's built-in success mechanism also is much broader in the scope than an animal's. In addition to helping man avoid or overcome danger, and the sexual instinct which keeps his race alive, the success mechanism in man can help him get answers to problems, invent, write poetry, run a business, sell merchandise, explore new horizons in science, attain more peace of mind, develop a better personality, or achieve success in any other activity which is intimately tied to his living or makes for a fuller life. So powerful. Hi, I am plant-based. Thank you for your question. So, the success instinct is the next part of this chapter. Portion parts. Sure, comment right away. A squirrel does not have to be taught how to gather nuts, nor does it need to learn that it should store them for winter. Yet in the fall of the year, it can be observed busily storing nuts to be eaten during the winter months, when there will be no food to gather. A bird does not need to take lessons in nest building, nor does it need to take courses in navigation. Yet birds do navigate thousands of miles, sometimes over open sea. They have no newspapers or TV to give them weather reports, no books written by explorer or pioneer birds to map out for them the warm areas of the earth. Nonetheless, the bird knows when cold weather is imminent and the exact location of a warm climate, even though it may be thousands of miles away. In attempting to explain such things, we usually say that animals have certain instincts which guide them. Analyze all such things, and you will find they assist the animal to successfully cope with its environment. In short, animals have a success instinct. We often overlook the fact that man, too, has a success instinct, much more marvelous and much more complex than that of any animal. Our Creator did not shortchange man. On the other hand, man was exceptionally blessed in this regard. Animals cannot select their goals. Their goals are self-preservation and procreation, are preset, so to speak. So their success mechanism is limited to these built-in goals, to these built-in goal images, which we call instincts. Man, on the other hand, has something animals haven't: creative imagination. Thus, man of all creatures is more than a creature. He is also a creator. Thus, with his imagination, he can formulate a variety of goals. Man alone can direct his success mechanism by the use of imagination or imagining ability. We often think of creative imagination as applying only to poets, inventors, and the like. But imagination is creative in everything we do. Although they did not understand why or how imagination sets our creative mechanism into action. Serious thinkers of all ages, as well as hard-headed, practical men, have recognized the fact and made use of it. Imagination rules the world, said Napoleon. Imagination of all man's facilities is the most godlike, said Glenn Clark. The faculty of imagination is the great spring of human activity and the principal source of human improvement. Destroy this faculty, and the condition of man will become as stationary as that of the brutes, said Douglas Stewart, the famous Scottish philosopher. You can imagine your future, says Henry J. Kaiser, who attributes much of his success in business to the constructive, positive use of creative imagination. Wow. I want to read that one more time. You can imagine your future. I 100% concur with that statement. And welcome into everyone watching. How your CES mechanism works. You are not a machine. But new discoveries in the science of cybernetics all point to the conclusion that your physical brain and nervous system make up a servo mechanism, which you use and which operates very much like an electronic computer and a mechanical goal-setting device. Your brain and nervous system constitute a goal-striving mechanism which operates automatically to achieve a certain goal, very much as a self-aiming torpedo or missile seeks out its target and steers its way to it. Your built-in servo mechanism functions both as a guidance system to automatically steer you in the right direction to achieve certain goals, or make correct responses to environment, and also as an electronic brain which can function automatically to solve problems, give you needed answers, and provide new ideas or inspirations. In his book, The Computer and the Brain, Dr. John von Neumann says that the human brain possesses the attributes of both the analog and the digital the digital computer. The word cybernetics comes from a Greek word which means literally the steersman. Servo mechanisms are so constructed that they are automatically steer their way to a goal, target, or answer. Psycho-Cybernetics, a new concept of how your brain works. When we conceive of the human brain and nervous system as a form of servo mechanism, operating in accordance with cybernetic principles, we gain a new insight into why and wherefore of human behavior. I choose to call this new concept Psycho-Cybernetics, the principles of cybernetics as applied to the human brain. I must repeat, Psycho-Cybernetics does not say that man is a machine. Rather, it says that man has a machine which he uses. Let us examine some of the similarities between mechanical servo mechanisms and the human brain. The two general types of servo mechanisms. Servo mechanisms are divided into two general types. Number one, where the target, goal, or answer is known and the objective is to reach it or accomplish it. And number two, where the target or answer is not known and the objective is to discover or locate it. The human brain and nervous system operates in both ways. An example of the first type is the self-guided torpedo, or the interceptor missile. The target or goal is known, an enemy ship or plane. The objective is to reach it. Such machines must know the target they are shooting for. They must have some sort of propulsion system or propulsion. That's what the word actually says. They must have some sort of propulsion system which propels them forward in the general direction of their target. They must be equipped with sense organs or radar, sonar, heat perceptors, etc., which bring information from the target. These sense organs keep the machine informed when it is on the correct course, or positive feedback, and when it commits an error and gets off course, or negative feedback. The machine does not react or respond to positive feedback. It is doing the correct thing already and just keeps on doing what it is doing. There must be a corrective device, however, which will respond to negative feedback. When negative feedback informs the mechanism that it is off the beam, too far to the right, the corrective mechanism automatically causes the rudder to move so that it will steer the machine back to the left. If it overcorrects and heads too far to the left, this mistake is made known through the negative feedback, and the corrective device moves the rudder so it will steer the machine back to the right. The torpedo accomplishes its goal by going forward and making errors and continually correcting them. By a series of zigzags, it literally grapples its way to the goal. Dr. Norbert Wiener, who pioneered in the development of goal-seeking mechanisms in World War II, believes that something very similar to the foregoing happens in human nervous systems. Whenever we perform any purposeful activity, when even in such a simple goal-seeking situation as picking up a package of cigarettes from a table, we are able to accomplish the goal of picking up the cigarettes because of an automatic mechanism and not by will and forebrain thinking alone. All that forebrain does is to select the goal, triggered into action by desire, and feed information to the automatic mechanism so that your hand continually corrects its course. In the first place, said Dr. Wiener, only an anatomist would know all the muscles involved in picking up the cigarettes. And if you knew, you would not consciously say to yourself, I must contract my shoulder muscles to elevate my arm. Now I must contract my triceps to extend my arm, etc. You just go ahead and pick up the cigarettes and are not conscious of issuing orders to individual muscles, nor of computing just how much contraction is needed. When you select the goal and trigger it into action, an automatic mechanism takes over. First of all, you have picked up cigarettes or performed similar movements before. Your automatic mechanism has learned something of the correct response needed. Next, your automatic mechanism uses feedback data furnished by the brain by your eyes, which tells it the degree to which the cigarettes are not picked up. This feedback data enables the automatic mechanism to continually correct the motion of your hand until it is steered to the cigarettes. In a baby, just learning to use its muscles, the correction of the hand in reaching for a rattle is very obvious. The baby has little stored information to draw upon. Its hands zigzags back and forth and gropes obviously as it reaches. It is characteristic of all learning as learning takes place. Correction becomes more and more refined. We see this in a person just learning to drive a car, who overcorrects and zigzags back and forth across the street. Once, however, a corrective or successful response has been accomplished, it is remembered for future use. The automatic mechanism then duplicates the successful response on future trials. It has learned how to respond successfully. It remembers its success, forgets its failures, and repeats the successful action without any further conscious thought or as a habit. Okay, I think I'm going to end here for today because I have so much to say. So before I go into talking about today's reading, I highly encourage everyone to leave comments in the chat. I do see all your comments as well, but I'm not going to respond to comments that have nothing to do with what we're talking about. So I'm going to invite in Joy. And guys, remember, if you want to be a part of the conversation live and in camera, you can always become a member of the book club and we can talk about everything together on command. So welcome and Joy. How are you doing today, girl?
Oh, hey, girl. Hey, thank you so much for the welcome. And what's up, everybody? I'm great. How are you? Thank you for reading.
Yeah, you're very welcome. I am doing amazing. I have so much to say about this chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly can't, like, my brain gets so excited just thinking about this description of success, or like the natural ability for us to create success habits, right? And this last part of just explaining how we naturally do things just because we have stored information that we draw upon. And, you know, if we are creating this self-image that we probably don't even know yet, we have to be willing to learn and accept change, like babies that are first using their bodies and trying to pick things up, or someone that's learning to drive and trying to figure out, you know, the measurement of the car and how loose the steering wheel is, or how, you know, easy you have to touch the gas pedal for the car to move forward. Like just the trial and errors of life. When you have something that you want to work towards and a dream that you want to go after, and you don't know anyone that's ever done it, that ability to pioneer and just use the five senses, that was really the part that I got excited about. But using the five senses to be able to tell yourself, okay, am I doing what feels good? Am I doing what looks good? Am I doing something that feels aligned with what I have imagined for myself? Because the brain is so powerful that even though you may not know what to do in the beginning, you have probably vividly imagined, right? That creative imaginations that humans have, that animals don't have, where you want to be and what you want for yourself. That when you are actually taking action towards making the goal happen in the physical, you are able to register just by using your senses if you are on the right path. That is amazing to me.
Yes, yes. I love that you brought that up. And I agree. And I also love that you kept saying this natural process, this natural way that we have. It is natural. And I feel like some of the systems of society kind of steer us away from those natural mechanisms in place of more robotic ones that we are conditioned to perform in order to power the system. So we don't even look at these mechanisms as being natural and being uh, a natural and progressive part of our learning system. Um, I have a video on my channel where I talk about how, and I always say this, that the human body and the human brain is the ultimate in divine intelligence. And we tend to, yeah, we know AI is a thing now, artificial intelligence, right? And we look at all these cool gadgets and technology and we might ooh and ah, but all of that stuff, we are the original. Our our body, our brain, how we function naturally, that is the blueprint of all of the things that we can see now in the world of technology. So learning that, I feel like, is such a game changer, and honoring that, right, as part of our holistic living. And something else I thought was so cool, because y'all see, right? Y'all know my platform is City John Living, and the foundation of that is exactly that. You know, being the full embodiment of yourself, so that you're living that fuller life. And I feel like that really aligns with what was read in the beginning of the chapter. The success mechanism in man can help him get answers to problems, invent, write poetry, run a business, sell merchandise, explore new horizons in science, attain more peace of mind, develop a better personality, or achieve success in any other activity that is intimately tied to his quote unquote living or makes for a fuller life. So it's really about knowing that we already have all of these mechanisms within us. And when we are tuned into them, they will always steer us in the right direction that's right for us. And the right direction for me might not be the same right direction for my best friend. But if we are in our right direction, that's all that matters.
Amen. And especially to tie in the first chapter again, that whether or not you believe you can do it, you are right.
Yep.
And that you are always going to align with what you really think about yourself and believe about yourself.
Mm.
So even though we naturally have the abilities to be successful, like this is something that we are endowed with, the ability to create success for our lives. But if you grow up believing that you are a failure and identifying with the times that you probably failed and faced a challenge and it didn't turn out in the way that your senses perceived as favorable, now you begin to believe that you are limited when naturally you are not. You are unlimited. You have this natural ability to be successful. And because we experience failure and pain from time to time, a lot of times we begin to avoid pain so much that we limit our own success and we don't go through those growing pains that are necessary for a abundantly successful life.
Mm-hmm. So true.
Mm-hmm. So this is your sign if there's something that you've been avoiding, if there's something that you think that it will be too ambitious for yourself to achieve. Tell your limiting beliefs to take a trip, go kick rocks. Like, you naturally have the ability to succeed and you can do it just by believing in yourself. So I'm sure we're going to get into a whole lot more with this chapter. And I'm really excited that this is how it started because I am so passionate about this topic and just how you create your favorite self and your most successful self and all of the above. And if you guys want to continue reading with us, we're going to pick up on how your brain finds answers to problems on page 21 on Wednesday. So, did you want to add anything else before we close out today, Joy?
Yeah, actually, one more thing, and I put it in the comments as well, but
Go ahead.
I saw a quote the other day, and I think it aligns so beautifully with what we're reading. And the quote is by Alan Watts, and he says, "What we see, what we believe, rather than what we see."
Wow. We definitely see what we believe. And I definitely want to highlight the fact that you can change what you see by changing what you believe.
Yep. That's it.
So, you guys enjoy the rest of your Monday and Tuesday, and we will talk again on Wednesday. God bless you all. I love you all. And don't forget to join Intentions of a Mastermind if you want to join the conversation live.